Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Holton Talks. You're joined today by me, Scott Acton, Jamie Acton, and we've got a special guest whose name is Sam Leonard, but on TikTok he's known as the True Adventurer, or the True Adventurer, or True Adventure,
True Adventures, yeah, yeah.
True Adventure. So some of you might know him, but yeah, he does loads of great videos that are Villa related. So we thought we'd get him on and just have a little chat. Firstly, how are you both?
Yeah,
Yeah, all
good,
good,
thank
mate, all
you.
good.
Yeah, all right.
Good stuff. Sam, thanks for coming on. I know we've just had a little chat beforehand, but we've obviously spoke a few times on TikTok. You do some mainly Villa related videos. Do you just want to tell everyone what it's about and how you got into it?
Yeah, I started out because I wrote this Villa song. I'm a singer, and I wrote this Villa song a little while ago, and I just made a TikTok page, just to post the song really. And then a little while back, I think I've been to the Villa Celtic game. And I live in Norwich, so I've got no one to talk to about Villa, and obviously I've got all this stuff. And I do WhatsApp my friends and stuff like that, but I just like and I got my wife doesn't want to know about it, and my kids don't want to know. So I thought, oh, I'll just do a TikTok. I'll do a TikTok, and I'll say, oh, and my first one was just like, I've been to the Celtic game, and wasn't it brilliant? And da 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 da, and this was great, and that was great, and and then I just thought, oh, this is really, I found it really easy, like not in a bad way, but in a kind of like, oh, I could do this all day. I could, oh, what else could I talk about, and so I just started doing that. And there's loads of things. The way I like to put it is like a lot of I do these kind of longer form stories, and a lot of them are things that I end up talking about when I'm in the pub, when I've had, 3 or 4 pints, and it's kind of like I did one about Paul McGrath, and that was pretty much just what I do when I'm in the pub, which is like, Sam talking about Paul McGrath again. Is he talking about Paul McGrath in Italian night at USA '94? And that's what I'm like, because I have a drink and I go, I ever told you about Paul McGrath at USA '94. Look, I'll get it up on YouTube. I'll get it for you. Look at this. Look, see. And so I just was doing that really, and or bemoaning the injury to Luke Nillis, or whatever really. They're just things that I could talk about all day long. And the only problem is I have to try and shrink them down to 2 or 3 minutes, and try and make it more succinct, because really I could do an hour on each easily.
Yeah. No, I just what was the last one I watched was the Gary Shaw one that you did maybe yesterday or the
Mm,
day before. Yeah, they are very good, and I mean we've only just started doing TikTok a couple of weeks ago, so we're trying to obviously keep it down to a shortened time, and then we have the longer episode on the YouTube channel.
yeah.
Um, I'm guessing it's quite a good way for you to just interact with different people though.
Yeah, I like the comments as well. The comments are you're always worried when you go on the internet, because it can be a very scary place, full of like, people. You think people are just going to tell you that you're not very good, and that what you're talking is rubbish and stuff like that. But thankfully, people are all right with it, and I like the comments. I like talking to people. I like, because people give me stuff, and I go, oh yeah, of course, I hadn't thought about that. Or people go, oh, you should do one about this, and it's really good. And a lot of it, I ask people for their memories, and all I ever talk about is what I know and what
Yeah,
I remember as me as a Villa fan. And so what I end up talking to usually is people about my age, because they want to talk about Luke Nillis, or they want to talk about Paul McGrath, or they want to talk about, the Coca-Cola Cup in 1994 or something like that,
yeah,
because that was our heyday, that was our time as Villa fans. So I just love talking to people about that. And sometimes you get people who are older, so like the Gary Shaw one and other ones, and they tell you stuff you didn't know, and that's great, because then you go, oh really? I'll look into that. That's funny. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We're
yeah.
we're quite lucky. So when we go, we've got like my dad, Jamie's dad, who are like older. Me and my brother are like similar age, and then Jamie's a little bit younger, not too much younger, but a little bit. So we have slightly different generational things. But we're all in a generation now that haven't seen us win a trophy for since '96. So we're all
Well,
waiting
you
for
got a
that.
good crews. They say it's four of you, yeah, that go up.
Five of us.
Five.
Yeah,
How's
five of
that
us.
car?
Yeah. In the
That's
car,
a
we
good
just take it
crew.
in turns to drive. Yeah, no, it is a good crack. I mean, yeah, we all love it. So I can kind of appreciate where you're coming from in terms of the interaction with different people, because obviously our interaction mainly is just with each other when we drive up and drive back. Um, so yeah, I do like that. In terms of the song that you touched on, so me and Jamie know the song. I've used it on a couple of our TikTok videos. I mean, it's a great
Yeah.
song. How did that come about?
It was because I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, and I've released lots of songs over the years. But as you may know, when you have kids, when you become a grown up, your time to do that kind of thing, it shrinks really because you think, oh, I should be doing the washing and I should be doing the kids are doing this or da 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 da. Da. It's just, I mean, being a grown up just takes up a lot of your time. So, and I just wasn't finding a lot of time to make music. It was just difficult. And sometimes it's good to give yourself a project, like give yourself a brief, like, all right, what should I do a song about? And I think it was when Villa were first really flying under Unai Emery. And the thing was, I'd looked at other teams and Hibernian, great example. They have Sunshine on Leith. One of my
Yeah,
favourite all-time videos is Hibernian won, I think, the League Cup in Scotland. And it was their first trophy for donkey's years. And the crowd singing their anthem, Sunshine on Leith together. John McGinn is in the team is just an absolutely spine-tingling moment. And what it made me think was, if Villa won a trophy, what would everyone be singing? Or like before kickoff, what is everyone singing? You know, and I think before we'd had like Don't Look Back in Anger was there for a bit, and then we have a bit of Sweet Caroline, and but nothing was Villa's song. You know, it wasn't for us. It was other people's songs that we'd adopted, and I kind of resented that a little bit because I'm very like we're Aston Villa. We've been around for 150 years. We invented the Football League, blah, blah, blah. We are the best. Why haven't
yeah,
we got a song? You know, we've been around long enough. What's going on? So I thought, all right, well, I'll write it then. I'll do it. And I wrote probably like 10 verses, you know, of everything that I just like. What do I think about Villa? What is it Villa all about? What have I got? You know, and obviously, like all of us, I can come up with a long diatribe about Villa. And then I just boiled it down because I thought, well, this has got to be sung by drunk blokes in a football stand. So I got it down to a verse and a chorus. And the chorus is actually the commentary of Peter With's goal
yeah,
from the 1982 final. So Mortimer and Peter With. Anyway, so that's what I did, and then I didn't even really do anything with it, and I just put it on a video on Twitter, and I got loads of replies going, "Oh, what's this song? What's this song?" So I posted it properly, and then it went mad on Twitter when it first came out, like got like 100,000 views or something like that, and they did play it before one of the Conference League games just during the
yeah,
warm up. Anyway, that
yeah,
to me, I was like, I can die happy, like my song's been played through the PA at Villa Park. You know, I'm done.
yeah. That's
Great.
brilliant. Yeah,
That's me finished. So so yeah, I'm still hopeful it'll catch on, but the problem with it is you can't push these things. I can't push it and say, you should sing my song, it's brilliant, da 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 da. And I can't get the club to push it because that's not how football works. It has to come from the fans, the people. So I reckon if it ever did catch on, it'll catch on in like 5 years or something like that when it's slowly become a thing. You know, it
yeah.
has to be organic. So I've made the song, it got played through the speakers. That's me done. I'm great, you know. So
You're
now
out. You're done.
I'm out. And also what I've been able to do is go and play the fan zone. I played the fan zone at Villa Park a couple of times, you know, like before the
Yeah,
game.
we definitely been there. I can't remember which game it was and seen it, and I'm pretty sure, Jay, that your dad was like, "What is this song?" And I think that might have
Mm.
been the first time that we had heard it.
Yeah, he loves it.
Um,
He loves it now though. Like he was literally singing it. So I said to him earlier. I said that obviously we got you coming on the pod, and he was like all day at work. He was singing it just like in the background. He was just like humming it to himself, and then he was singing it. But like, but
Yeah,
I was gonna say that obviously like I love the song, and I have a Spotify playlist. I just call with my playlist. I just name it random things that I can relate to the genre. So with it, I just called it Gabby for obviously Gabby Abonlahor. So on there,
Yeah.
I just have like anything kind of relate to Villa, like I said, like Sweet Caroline's on there and stuff, but also your songs on there. But what I
Good.
do when I go on there, when I get in my truck, I go in there. I'll click when I go on the Gabby playlist. Scroll down to your song, click it, and then shuffle. So it's always the first one on. My,
Good.
my honestly, yeah. So this is funny. So me and my missus now knows all the words to the song because when we get in the truck, she
It's
will
the
get in
first one.
because she'll get in because I only play the Gabby playlist when we're driving, and then she'll be like, "I know what's coming," and then straight away bang. And sometimes she's even got on the truck, and then as soon as the Apple CarPlay's put on, she's there on the screen, bang straight away, and she knows the words and stuff as well. Like,
Brilliant. Love it. That's good.
but
Yeah,
but
people have it as their ring. I've had it. People say they have it as their ringtone. People listen to it pre-match, like, on the telly, or if they're on the train or whatever. And yeah, so it's brilliant. That's all I'm bothered about, really. Like, I'm not a very ambitious person. I'm just like, if people like it, then that's fine by me. A lot of kids like it. I know that. Kids are
Yeah,
really into it.
I think
Um,
you are right in terms of Villa having a song though, and I remember like I've spoke quite a lot with my dad about this because you go to like obviously Liverpool have Never Walk Alone, it's really good. Villa obviously play Crazy Train, which I love Crazy Train, but it's not. It's a bit of a random song to have as
But
like a
that's a
song
walk. You
before the
see,
game.
that's a walkout song.
That's a
That's
walkout
different
song, yeah.
because
But
that's what people say. Oh, this should be the walkout song. Like, no, it's not the walkout song.
it
The
should be the
walkout song
song
is
before
one
the
thing.
walkout song.
It's
Yeah,
it's the song before kickoff. It's just before
yeah,
kickoff is when it needs to be sung. Forest do it really well.
yeah,
The only problem is Arsenal their one. A lot of people think their one is very cringe. North London Forever,
yeah,
and
yeah. I
uh,
know,
and also because Arsenal fans can be a little bit cringe and annoying in their own
yeah,
way.
yeah.
It's like kind of given that kind of song a bit of a bad rep now. So I feel a little bit like people are like, oh, what, like North London Forever? I'm like, no, no, not like that, not like that song. No, it's different. It's
I
different.
think
It's
I think
different.
it's the lyrics, like because they go on about the weather and stuff, don't they? So I think some
Yeah,
people get with Arsenal. I think that because I have a few Arsenal fans, my friends are, and we often have that little debate as well. I'm saying like they're trying to get their own sort of thing to get the fans going, and for Arsenal fans it does they scream it, but like he says, it's the cringe aspect of it comes out when they go on they start talking about the weather and stuff, and like that's when for some people are like, well, what are you going on about? Whereas with yours, because I've said to my old man before, I was like, this could be done, like Scotty said, either before the walkout or before the kickoff.
yeah,
And I was trying to do it like because obviously when people sing songs in the stands, it comes out different to how it would like how
yeah.
you
You
would
have
do on
to
spot.
you have to
Yeah,
shrink the gaps, don't you?
yeah. So I was thinking, so I was going through it and I was doing it fucking. You're on about cringe. This is it. Like, I was in my room alone thinking like just like trying
No,
to
it
see
is right though.
trying to
But
see how I
I've
could
done
do
that as
it.
well. You're right, because it has to be quicker because
Yeah,
you can't have the gaps. It has to go, oh, it must be, and it is Mortimer. You have to kind of hit it, but
yeah,
what you need is the key to all songs, and this is I was listening to something earlier where they were talking about Villa and how we don't have enough songs in general, regardless of walkout songs. We just don't have enough of a catalogue. But it's the away fans. The away fans are the key holders to the songs. It's like they're the approval committee of what songs get through. Do you know what I mean? Because they're
yeah.
the hardcore and they go home and away. So I almost need to submit it to the away fans and say, like,
to like an
bring it to
ultras
them.
Facebook
Yeah,
page.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
please, please.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's my
Please
sing
sing
song
it
this,
away.
for
sing this, sing this.
yeah, but like I
No,
said, it has to come organically, and sometimes as well, it comes from a moment. A lot of songs, so like "Don't Look Back in Anger," that came about because I think we'd
it
won our
was Reading,
first away
Reading,
game.
yeah, it was me and my brother were there, Reading away, and Jordan Ayew scored a penalty right at the end. And as we were coming out, I remember coming out the ground and they were playing Don't Look Back in Anger, and it kind of just stuck more through like social media, I think, and then obviously got played at Villa, and then
Yeah.
then that kind of faded out, didn't it? Sweet Caroline.
So,
But every time
sometimes you just need a moment, like, so
a
maybe if
moment,
Villa
yeah,
were to win a big game or a cup or something like that, and if the song was caught on, then that's where you kind of have to attach it, so it's kind of,
yeah,
you got, like I said, you have to let it happen organically from the fans. They do it, and maybe, and also part of me doing TikToks is and stuff like that is for people to just say, oh, I'm not some cringe guy who made a song, I'm just a Villa fan just like you. And you know if they get to know me a bit more, maybe they'll get to be like, oh, actually, yeah, he's all right. And you know what? His song isn't as cringe as I thought it was. He's all right.
yeah,
Maybe that kind of thing. So it's all good though. Like, the fact of the matter is, it used to be pretty rubbish being a Villa fan, and now it's great, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
even if it's a
yeah,
bit of a lull at the moment, it's still,
yeah.
it's great, so good, isn't it?
The last few years yeah, since obviously Emery come in, I mean, I don't think probably anyone expected it to go the way that it's gone. I think probably we thought we'd be on an upward trajectory, but not to the level obviously that we did. And again, we were talking before we like started recording, we probably did the Champions League too early. And like you said, Sam, we've probably Europa League is probably just about our level. In terms of what other teams are spending and revenue that they can bring in and all that kind of extra stuff, I would say Europa League is probably our level, and we're pushing for Champions League. We were obviously, again, we were talking beforehand about transfers and stuff, and you made a good point on maybe this year is better off just keeping hold of certain players instead of obviously signing. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, because I think sometimes it's about, people think that signings make you better, but signings don't always make you better, especially if you're having to sell other people. My I don't do fantasy football anymore. I'm retired from fantasy football, but I used to. Do you know why I used to lose on fantasy football? Because I used to use all the extra points because I'd be doing subs and transfers because I was desperate to get better players. And sometimes it's not about trying to get better players. You just gotta. Sometimes you can have the advantage over other teams because your team is settled and your team know each other, and you can hit the ground running because you played together last season. You're not having to settle in some 50, 60 million pound guy. Or we've bought Anana and Matson last season and they've had their year to bed in, and maybe they'll kick on. So I think sometimes Emery said he said last season he'd be happy if he could keep everyone. I don't know if he meant Rashford and Asensio as well, but I'll be happy if we kept Rodgers, if we kept Watkins, kept Kamara. I mean, there's talk of Kamara signing his contract this week, so
Yeah,
those are the things that I'm bothered about, really. Keep Kamara in there, and just bed in some of the signings that we made last season, because I I find a lot of it, to be honest, quite boring as well now, because transfers used to be about transfers, and now it's like about PSR and revenue and selling your women's team or selling your ground to yourself, or I don't care really. And I don't know how Chelsea and Man United are doing it, to be perfectly honest. Chelsea especially. I mean, how are we, after being in the Champions League and you know getting to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and good finishes in the league, and we're still selling players. And Chelsea have got what, 60 players or something. It's just mad.
I
So
know, I know.
it's
I
like
laugh.
maybe,
I'm laughing because on our Villa chat, my dad. I know Jay, you'll probably laugh because my dad can't get his head around it. And I kid you not, every day there'd be something from Twitter about Chelsea and how are they doing this, how are they allowed to do this, and
I don't know.
United
I don't
obviously
know.
completed the and Bramo signed, didn't he? So he's that's gone
Yeah.
through. So they've signed him, Cunha, and they're in obviously billions worth of debt. I mean, I know what the Premier League are going to say, and it's in terms of revenue and all that. But for your standard fan who just wants to go and watch their team be successful, it makes no sense to nobody. And
Nah.
it's frustrating. Like you said, it's become boring because it's not about transfers. It's not about we need a player. We're going to go and identify that player, sign him. It's now, oh, we've got to balance the books first. We've got to do this, like you said. We've got to sell the women's team. It's more of a business than a passion now.
And it's not keeping people sustainable. It's just really
Not at all,
not.
no.
That was the intention, was to stop clubs from making themselves go bust and stuff like that. But it's not. It's not about that. It's about who's got the best accountant. Maybe that's what Villa need to get. Is, the biggest signing should be the best accountant in the world. Go and get Chelsea's accountant, because that seems to be what you need, doesn't it? Apart from,
Yeah.
instead of a right winger. So. I
It,
don't
it,
really know. I'm not that fussed about transfers, because I think our manager is so good, and we're not in the Champions League. So we should, if Man United and Spurs can get into the latter stages of the Europa League, we should be able to get into the latter stages of the Europa League. And I think without that extra Champions League burden, I think we've got a good chance of finishing top 5, top 4, whatever it takes, really. So I'm not as worried as other people. A lot of people are very, I see online, they're very, very worried. Maybe worried about Emi Martinez going, but even if Emi Martinez goes, it's all right. Like, it's just one player. I know he's a good goalie and everything like that, but I, I'm very trusting in Unai Emery, and if Unai Emery thinks we're all right, then we're all right. He's not steered us wrong so far, so I'm more relaxed than other people are. That's for sure.
no, yeah, we touched on it on a previous podcast. Emery's earned enough trust from the fan base that, like you said, if he's happy, then we need to be happy. I just touched on the Martinez one. Jay, I'll throw it to you. What did you make of United apparently making a loan bid? I mean, what is that about?
Yeah, it's like something out of FIFA, really, isn't it? Because on FIFA you can go to do a loan to buy and get anyone you want in world football. So it just shows how unrealistic it is. But yeah, I mean, we spoke about the whole Emmy thing. I mean, for me, he's my favourite player. I think he's the best goalie that we've seen, in our ball, especially like for me anyway. He's the best goalie I've seen play for Villa in my lifetime. And obviously, he hasn't come out and publicly said things, but you can only go off. I only trust two journalists, and that's David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. I only really go off what they say. I take as like biblical, really, because they're the ones that are never really wrong. So I can only, so what from what they're saying, I tried to kind of, I think Fabrizio came out, I think about 3 or 4 days ago, and because he does like a midnight podcast where he talks about all the in news clubs and stuff and all the in news players, and he was on about Martinez, and he said, obviously he's got his new agent George Mendes, and he said he was like, it's actually more Mendes trying to push for a move to United rather than United pushing for Martinez, if that makes sense. So it's just little things like that where I know Emily loves the club and that, but in my head, I think Scott, I put on the group chat, didn't I? I was like last week that it's similar to the Jack situation when he went. It went for the whole summer, and you're just like, part of you just wants to, let him go so you can focus on what you got. Because right now, no one knows who's going to be in goal. Is it going to against Newcastle? See, we know Martinez is going to be suspended, but is he going to come in after that? Is Marco Bizzo going to start in goal? Is it going to be that we've sold Martinez and we get Lucas Chevalier from Lille because he's the one that we're linked with? Is he going to come in and start? So it's annoying. I'd rather it be put to bed. United say no, like we're done. We're going to move. We're looking at another goalie. We're going to go for him. Then you kind of in your head you're thinking, okay, Emmy's going to be here for the season. Or I'd rather Emmy, news gets leaked that he's pushing for a move and he's handed in a transfer request, whatever. Just then he can go, because even though I think he is, in my opinion, he's our best player, despite the season he had last year. I want players that want to play for the club, and it's hard for me to think looking forward to next season when you don't even know who's going to be in goal.
Yeah, I think you're right. And they need to just either sell him and move on, like you said, get another target, or put it to bed and just say he's not for sale. He's going to be goalkeeper, but like you said, we know he's not going to play at Newcastle, which is fine. But yeah, don't drag it out any much longer than it needs to be dragged out for.
Yeah, I think
I'm
as
definitely with you
well
on
is
that.
that Yeah, like right now as well. I think they said they value him at 40 million. He turns 33 in a couple months, I think. So obviously, for a goalie, he's still in that prime age. But you know, give it another 3 or 4 years. Obviously you're not going to get nowhere near that fee. So if you are to, he's just signed a new deal. If you are to get a decent fee, we're talking a little bit about PSR. If you were to get a decent fee this summer, is probably the time to cash in. Because
Yeah,
you've got a World Cup coming up next summer. So all these agents are trying to get the moves that their players want to get because they want to be playing on the biggest stages against the best teams. So they're guaranteed a spot for their national team. So, but yeah, like if you're going to cash in, I think this summer would be the time. Again, we're valuing at 40 million. If you can get, around that, I think that's good business. I mean, you've made a profit on a 33-year-old goalkeeper.
The
yeah,
wages are big, aren't they? That's what they are because the club aren't like giving it the big one either. The club aren't going, no, you can't have him. The club are going, oh well, oh, you
yeah.
could
We
do,
might entertain it. Yeah,
and so it's the wages, isn't it? He's on big money, and there's this European
yeah.
wage
This,
thing. Is
yeah,
that right? That we need to
yeah.
reduce. So they must be thinking exactly what you said. Oh, we could get a bit of money for him. This might be our last chance to get good money for him. And, maybe he is getting older and maybe we could, or maybe they've got their eye on, maybe they've already thought ahead. Maybe they already think, I reckon he'll go. So the plan's in place. So maybe it might be all done, but I think what you said is exactly right. Similar to Jack, where it gets to a point where you go, look, either go or stay, because as good as he is and as important as he is, at some point we've got to get it done or not done because we've got a season to get prepared for. We need a new
100%.
goalie in, so get it done now. But I find the Man United thing. I mean,
Ah,
why would you want to go to? The only thing I can think of is that his agent wants to get him a move. He thinks he can get him big money. Fair enough. And I know there's the whole thing, his wife's just opened a shop in Birmingham and stuff like that, so they don't want to move abroad. So he can easily live where he lives, and travel up to Manchester. So maybe it's a lifestyle thing as well. Um, so it's difficult, but like I said, players leave and we'll move on. He has been brilliant. Like I did a video before about Mark Bosnich. I wanted to be a goalie when I was 10, 11 because I love Mark Bosnich. And if I was
yeah,
10, 11 now, 100% would have Emmy Martinez shirt. And you see them all around the ground, don't you? You see
yeah. You
so
do.
many
Yeah,
kids in Martinez shirts, and they wouldn't have had. Oh man, I don't even want to name our other goalies. They weren't very good, were they? They didn't
yeah,
have
Yeah,
Brad Guzan shirts on, did
yeah,
they?
put some
They didn't.
respect. Put some respect on Nyland's name.
Nyland,
yeah,
yeah, of course,
yeah.
Nyland. Oh my God. Do you know what? He did have that good game against Leicester. Do you remember that semi-final? He was
Yeah,
good in that game. He
yeah.
was good.
He made that save from Madison, I think, where he's reached over like that in front of the
Yeah,
North stand. I
it
think
was a good
tipped it onto
save.
the
Yeah.
post.
He had that.
It
He
was
had
a good
that good
save.
catch
Come right
against. He had
over.
the good catch against Sheffield United, where he caught it into the bot. You remember into the net.
How
Yeah,
did he
world
keep it out?
class.
I
Yeah.
still
I
don't
don't
know
know.
how he kept it out. It's
No, me
crazy.
neither.
I think it was
Um,
Keenan Davis
yeah.
pushing him into the net.
Keenan Davis. God, I forgot about
Yeah,
Keenan
King,
that
Davis.
just
King,
shows
yeah,
how far we've come.
Keenan
But yeah,
Davis.
like you said, you are right. It needs to be settled so the club can move on because ultimately the club's still more important than what Martinez does.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, we've got a season, and the season realistically is only a few weeks away now. It's not that far at all. So, yeah, they need to start cracking on. The other thing I was going to say to you, because Jay, you sent a picture to me earlier, and Sam, I see that you put it on TikTok, is the concept kit that they are saying is going to be the third shirt. Now,
Mm.
I know by your TikTok reaction, Sam, that you didn't think it was the best. What did you make of it? If that is the kit,
I've been waiting for so long for this bloody trefoil. Because I've been
Yeah.
looking at, Bayern Munich. In fact, I look so much at Bayern Munich's Adidas original stuff that I now get, you get targeted advertising. So now it's getting
Yeah.
worse. They send me, oh, check out this really good Bayern Munich. Oh, because they're so good, all the stuff. And I was like, oh, Villa, we're going to have all this. And then when I saw that today, I was just like, my heart sank. I spoke to another guy on Twitter, Adam, who does really good stuff about football finance and some stuff about kids. He's really good, and I sent him a message about it, and he said that someone had told him that it's not entirely accurate, and that they think that it'll just be a lion and not the badge, which will look a
Okay.
bit better.
Yeah.
But I said, but what I was saying was they didn't need to do anything. They didn't need to, honestly. They could have released a white shirt, nothing, completely white, with
Yeah.
the Adidas thing, with a lion, with three stripes, and I would have been there like money, 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 and everyone there would have been queuing around the block because that's all we wanted was a classy, simple shirt. And that one, apart from it being blue, what are they thinking? I mean, how did that get past? Did no one at any point go, lads, is it not blue? Is it not a bit blue? Like, and what's the pattern on it? Like, what it looks like?
It
What's it
literally looks
inspired by
it.
the canal? Like,
It, yeah, it looks like my nan's curtain in her front room. It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
oh,
It wasn't great, was it? It wasn't.
No,
Nah.
nah, it's done my
Like
head in.
you
It's done my
said,
head in, to be honest.
I
the
think
season hasn't even started,
majority.
and we're already like throwing our toys out the pram. We're like, oh,
And it
this is
makes us
it.
sound. It does. It makes us
Like,
sound like real moaning old women.
you can't
But
please Villa fans. You
honestly,
can't
I've
please
been
us.
I've been desperate for this bloody fancy Adidas shirt since we got Adidas, and then they give us this, and it's just I'm just like, what is that? What are you doing? Like,
That
oh
is 100% the problem because I think so many people have been waiting for that shirt because it's going to have the trefoil on, and everyone's like, oh,
yeah,
it's going to look unreal. Like you said, Bayern Munich shirts are incredible, and you think, yeah, we're
yeah.
going to have a
Juventus.
proper
Do you see the
quality,
Juventus ones? They're so good.
Yeah,
They've just
and
had the
then
they've just got the trefoil and the horse. It looks so good. Oh my God!
yeah,
Why
and
can't
ours
we just
looks like I said, it looks like a Leeds United shirt. I thought, what the hell is this? Like, yeah, I mean, let's just hope that that isn't actually the one, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
maybe slightly
yeah.
different, so everyone will be a bit happier. Before we wrap it up, did you I know obviously you said you went to a few Champions League games last year. Did you have a favourite game that you went to last year?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my daughter's just walked in. You okay?
Well, you all right?
You still awake?
Scotty has
Yeah.
that.
Do you want me
That
to
for
come see
Scotty
in?
the last
I'll come
episode.
see you in a couple of minutes. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute because my daughter's awake.
No, you're all right. I have the same issue because my kids like to come in and get involved. I was
Today,
just
that's
saying, did you have a favourite game from last year that you actually went to?
TSG. Well, I went to the Bayern game, and that was just I could have retired after that from watching Villa. It was just it was like for me it was just like it was like the end of a movie for me. I was just like, we've got to the Champions League. The moment before they played the Champions League anthem, you guys were there.
Yeah,
Were
yeah,
you
yeah,
there? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
ground went quiet. It went quiet just
yeah. It
before they
did for the
played it, and
Bayern, yeah.
it was like everybody was thinking, "Are you really going to play the Champions League anthem? Is this really happening?" And then there was the game, and it was obviously thrilling. And that Duran moment, I, I, I don't think I celebrated. I think I was just like this, and everyone was going mad. And I feel like I just stood there for the rest of the game like this. And then they blew the final whistle, and I was still stood there. And then in the end, it was like everybody left, and the steward like come and tapped me on the shoulder, and went, "It's time to go now, mate." And I was like, I can't believe that's just happened. That was amazing. The Celtic game I really loved. I was hanging out, I bumped into loads of Irish fans. You know, the Paul McGrath, love of Paul
Yeah,
McGrath
yeah,
podcast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Neil and
Neil, yeah.
Paddy. I was with them in the Aston Inn afterwards, and we had a brilliant time. And I met this bloke. who was Irish. He come over from America, and his mate was having to talk for him because he'd lost his voice. He was going. He was going. He's lost his voice. He's come over from California for this game. Like he's lost his voice. He said he
He's
lost his
telling
voice after
me
10 minutes.
he's telling me he loves your music.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And then the PSG game was just that like 10, 15 minutes in the PSG game. I was laughing because I thought this is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
In what universe are Villa gonna turn it around against PSG? Like, when that Konza goal went in, people were just losing their minds, and it was just,
If we've said it
I'll
before,
never forget
because
it.
we spoke about which game was better, and I think if you could bottle up that pure emotion when the concert goal goes in, and you can say to like your kids that is the reason you go to football for like that
Yeah.
moment,
Oh,
that is like the moment that you bottle up and just yeah. I
yeah. It
mean,
was
I
great. It was
think
great.
it was so good. I mean, yeah, if buts and maybes, but joy of being a Villa fan, I suppose that after
It's
that
not
game.
about winning though. That's not. That game is the perfect example of about. It's not always about winning. It's about moments. You go
Yeah.
to football for moments, and you'll never forget that moment. Like I can
No.
take that to the grave now. Like that was
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's all I want. All I want, is
Yeah. I remember after the
Yeah.
Bayern Munich game, when I got home, I put a message in my family's like group chat, and I just said I just put like best night of my life. Some random kid from Colombia has just given me the best moment of my life. He's just and I've said something like he's lobbed the greatest keeper of all time in front of my eyes at Villa Park.
it
Manuel
was mad,
Neuer,
wasn't it?
and I was like,
Yeah.
Manuel Neuer has no right playing at Villa Park, yet he was there, and some random kid from Colombia just lobbed him, and I was like, they're not going to know me at any point, and I'm just like, they provided me with that moment, and I'm just like, it's incredible, and I couldn't really put two and two together. I was like, how?
Oh,
How am I
we've lost his
watching
sound.
Neuer?
Oh, there it goes back.
No, no, it was bloody. I had a FaceTime come through. Sorry, um, I had a. But yeah, how am I seeing Neuer play at Villa Park? And I just couldn't put two and two together because again, we're ahead of where we should be. We're not. We shouldn't have been playing in the Champions League, yet we were. And
Yeah.
again, the PSG, I was like, how am I watching Kvaratskhelia and Dembele up against like May Cash, and I'm like, what's going on? It's pinch yourself moments. You don't really yeah, it's amazing. But like you said, it's not about winning because we didn't win that PSG game. And after that Bayern Munich game, I didn't come away from that thinking, oh yeah, we're better than Bayern Munich. But it's the moments that they give you. And
Yeah.
Duran, for all he done for the club and how he left, he'll always be remembered
Yeah.
upon Villa fans for that moment. And
We'll
it's
never
just,
forget that. I mean,
oh
what was he
no, no.
doing? What was he doing? He's
I was
lobbed
like,
it. What
I was
was
like,
he
he ain't
doing?
gonna lob Neuer. Like, he ain't got that in his locker. Like, he's good. He's good. Like, you can score against like Pickford and away at Leicester, but you're not scoring against Neuer. Like, he gives a lobs him.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. So good. So
It
good.
was
They are
amazing.
brilliant. Hopefully we'll have a couple more moments like that this year. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
time will tell. Right, we'll wrap it up there. Sam, I really appreciate you coming on. Honestly,
No worries. Thanks for having
thanks
me. I
very much.
loved it. It's great.
And I'm sure if you're up for it, we'll get you on throughout the season because we'll carry on
Yeah.
doing them
Ho-
throughout the season.
Hopefully, I'll see you down Villa Park. I'll give you a shout if
Yeah,
I'm down. Probably going
100%.
to the Fulham game. I think I'm going to the Fulham game. That's my plan.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one of the first ones. Yeah, that's one of the first home
Yeah.
games we got, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
We're there for the odd game that maybe
We got.
one of us missed, but yeah, we'll be there. But yeah, like I said, thanks for coming. I much appreciated. I don't really need to say anything about your platforms because you've got more followers than us. So
All right. I'll tell them to follow
I'll,
you then. Yeah.
I'll leave a link though. I will leave a link to obviously your stuff on the channel. But yeah, thanks again for coming
Yeah.
on. And
No
yeah,
worries. Loved it.
up the Villa and yeah, see
All right.
everyone soon. Thanks, guys.
Up the Villa. Ta.